The modern gentleman over 40 faces a unique challenge in today's fashion landscape, where youth-obsessed trends dominate every corner of the style world. Elite social circles judge a man's character, competence, and social standing within mere seconds of first encounter, making sartorial choices more critical than ever before. Recent psychological studies from prestigious universities reveal that snap judgments about trustworthiness occur in just 1/10 of a second, based purely on visual appearance. Distinguished men understand that authentic sophistication transcends fleeting fashion trends, requiring instead a deep understanding of timeless elegance principles. The difference between a man who commands respect and one who fades into obscurity often lies in 8 specific wardrobe mistakes that silently undermine masculine authority. Stay with me as we explore these crucial insights, because the final revelation might completely transform how you perceive polished presentation. First, let's examine the devastating impact of wrinkled casual shirts on executive presence. When a sophisticated gentleman appears in wrinkled garments, he unconsciously communicates disorder and lack of attention to detail. High society observers interpret rumpled clothing as a direct reflection of mental disorganization and compromised professional standards. The texture and presentation of fabric speak volumes about a man's internal discipline before any conversation begins. Consider the psychological effect when entering an exclusive boardroom or upscale social gathering wearing obviously wrinkled attire. The energy shift becomes immediately palpable as respect levels diminish instantaneously among discerning peers. However, this particular challenge offers an elegant solution requiring minimal investment yet yielding maximum impact. Even modestly priced shirts from mainstream retailers can project luxury and refinement when properly pressed and maintained. This attention to garment care signals to others that similar precision extends to all areas of personal and professional life. Contemporary research confirms that visual disorder in clothing directly correlates with increased stress levels and decision-making fatigue. When a gentleman elevates his wardrobe maintenance standards, he simultaneously enhances his mental clarity and executive presence. Now let's discuss the profound significance of footwear condition in aristocratic circles. Discerning individuals instinctively assess shoe quality and maintenance before making eye contact, operating on deeply ingrained social programming. Scuffed leather, worn heel counters, and neglected polish immediately broadcast a message of declining personal standards and diminished self-respect. Once observers detect careless footwear maintenance, they begin questioning other aspects of character, discipline, and reliability. Picture yourself impeccably dressed in tailored trousers, crisp shirting, and a perfectly fitted blazer, only to have worn, dirty shoes undermine the entire ensemble. This single oversight creates the same negative impression as arriving at an important engagement with visible food stains. The psychological impact registers immediately, though social etiquette prevents direct commentary on the observation. Conversely, meticulously maintained footwear, regardless of original price point, signals sophistication, self-respect, and readiness for success. Quality shoe care communicates to sophisticated observers that detail-oriented precision governs all aspects of personal presentation. Academic research published in respected personality journals demonstrates that footwear alone enables observers to accurately assess 90% of personality characteristics. This phenomenon extends far beyond mere fashion considerations into the realm of psychological profiling and social positioning. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell to give this channel the strength it needs to continue delivering elite style insights. Let's now explore why cargo shorts represent the antithesis of refined masculine presentation after age 40. These utilitarian garments have become synonymous with surrendering personal style in favor of purely functional considerations. While cargo shorts offer undeniable comfort and storage capacity, they serve no purpose in sophisticated social environments outside military or wilderness contexts. Mature gentlemen should prioritize intentional style choices over convenience-driven laziness in their sartorial decision-making process. The excessive bulk created by cargo pockets distorts natural body proportions, particularly around the thigh area, creating an unflattering silhouette. This functional approach to dressing makes men appear heavier, shorter, and less refined than their actual physical dimensions warrant. Distinguished men recognize that their wardrobe should evolve alongside their accumulated wisdom, confidence, and social position. The oversized shorts, logo-heavy t-shirts, and chunky athletic footwear, appropriate for 25-year-olds, fails to serve the sophisticated man you've become. Maturity brings increased social responsibility to project authority, competence, and refined taste through conscious clothing choices. Instead of cargo shorts, sophisticated gentlemen choose tailored chino shorts or lightweight dress trousers that maintain clean, flattering lines. These elevated alternatives provide comfort without sacrificing the polished appearance expected in upscale social and professional environments. The objective transcends merely getting dressed to actively demonstrating continued relevance, capability, and sophisticated personal standards. We must address the unconscious discomfort that synthetic fabrics create in sophisticated social interactions. While you might not consciously notice fabric quality differences, refined individuals certainly detect these subtle but important distinctions. Synthetic materials possess an unnatural light reflection quality that immediately signals inferior construction and compromised elegance. These man-made fabrics wrinkle in unusual patterns and cling to the body in ways that natural fibers never exhibit. Beyond visual considerations, synthetic materials like polyester and cheap rayon lack proper breathability, causing increased perspiration and accelerated odor development. This combination of factors creates an overall impression of artificial elegance rather than authentic sophistication and refinement. Observant individuals unconsciously register these negative signals even when they cannot articulate the specific source of their discomfort. The overall effect makes the wearer appear slightly artificial, economical, and uncomfortable within their own clothing. Natural fabrics, including cotton, wool, and linen, improve with age rather than deteriorating, developing character and softness over time. These premium materials breathe naturally, signal quality construction, and communicate sophisticated taste without requiring verbal explanation. In an era dominated by fast fashion and synthetic materials, fabric quality becomes the distinguishing factor that separates refined gentlemen from the masses. Sophisticated men who prioritize fabric quality demonstrate their commitment to lasting elegance over temporary convenience. Next, we'll examine how sarcastic text on clothing undermines emotional maturity and sophisticated presence. Novelty t-shirts featuring phrases like, "I paused my game to be here," or "I'm not arguing, I'm just right," might generate laughter from younger demographics. However, when worn by men over 40, these garments signal emotional immaturity and desperate attention-seeking behavior rather than confident self-assurance. Sarcastic clothing represents performative humor that screams, "Notice me," instead of projecting the quiet confidence expected from accomplished gentlemen. Authentic confidence never requires printed punchlines or provocative statements to command attention and respect from others. Distinguished men attract notice through presence, competence, and refined taste rather than through controversial or attention-grabbing messaging. When shirts attempt to be the loudest voice in any room, they often overshadow and diminish the man wearing them. Consider whether your clothing choices reflect wisdom, tranquility, and clarity, or whether they're still pursuing the same juvenile attention you sought decades ago. Sophisticated wardrobes should evolve alongside inner development, maturity, and accumulated life experience rather than remaining frozen in collegiate humor. Wit and humor remain welcome elements of personality, but they should manifest through timing and conversation rather than through printed typography. At this life stage, accomplished men don't need to prove their cleverness through clothing. They simply need to demonstrate comfort within their own identity. Let's explore how ill-fitting jackets destroy the authoritative presence that sophisticated men work to cultivate. A blazer or sport coat represents far more than mere outerwear. It functions as a powerful statement of competence and social positioning. When jacket fit is compromised, that carefully crafted statement becomes muddled and the intended message gets completely lost. Overly tight jackets create an uncomfortable appearance, suggesting you're attempting to inhabit someone else's lifestyle or social position. Conversely, oversized jackets engulf your frame, making you appear smaller, less confident, and uncertain about your place in sophisticated environments. Neither extreme flatters your physique or commands the respect that properly fitted tailoring naturally generates. After age 40, body proportions shift significantly, requiring corresponding adjustments in how clothing should fit across shoulders, chest, and waist. Posture changes, shoulder alignment, and midsection modifications become increasingly noticeable, and poorly fitted jackets highlight every physical imbalance. Improper fit doesn't merely look wrong, it feels uncomfortable and broadcasts that discomfort to everyone observing your presentation. However, when jackets fit correctly, the transformation in presence becomes immediately apparent and dramatically positive. Well-fitted blazers broaden shoulders, define waistlines, and create a grounded, authoritative presence that commands attention naturally. You don't simply enter rooms wearing properly tailored jackets, you occupy space with quiet confidence that others instinctively respect. Professional tailoring isn't reserved exclusively for weddings or boardroom presentations. It's essential for any man who values sophisticated daily presentation. Minor adjustments at shoulders or waistline can mean the difference between appearing tired and worn versus timeless and distinguished. Now we'll discuss why fleece vests represent corporate uniformity rather than individual style expression. The ubiquitous fleece vest worn over dress shirts has become standard office attire, particularly in finance and technology sectors. While these garments receive recognition for practical warmth, they completely fail to express personal style or individual sophistication. The fundamental problem with fleece vests lies in their complete lack of expressive character or distinctive visual interest. They project neutrality to the point of blandness. Communicating that function took complete precedence over identity and personal expression. Fleece vests have become the sartorial equivalent of responding to every style question with whatever works, rather than making intentional choices. Certainly, they provide warmth and convenience, but authentic style requires deliberate intention rather than merely settling for utilitarian ease. Sophisticated style involves selecting pieces that reflect individual character rather than simply conforming to acceptable office culture norms. For warmth without sacrificing elegance, consider fine wool cardigans, lightweight bomber jackets, or quilted outerwear that adds structure and visual interest. These alternatives provide texture, depth, and sophistication, while demonstrating that you've moved beyond uniform conformity into personal style territory. Men over 40 have earned the privilege to stop blending invisibly into corporate crowds and begin refining distinctive personal presentation. Let's examine how overly tight polo shirts create visual tension rather than projecting the intended confident masculinity. The skin-tight polo that clings desperately to arms and chest like vacuum-sealed packaging might work for 20-something gym enthusiasts. However, when worn by 45-year-old men, this approach reads as strained desperation rather than confident strength or masculine authority. Sophisticated confidence isn't about displaying every muscle or physical attribute, it's about demonstrating that such display isn't necessary for commanding respect. Well-fitted polo shirts should skim the body's contours without gripping or clinging, moving naturally with your gestures rather than fighting against them. Overly tight fits create visual tension not only for the wearer, but for everyone observing this uncomfortable presentation. This approach communicates that you're trying too hard, and in sophisticated circles, visible effort should always remain invisible and effortless. Distinguished gentlemen aren't present to flex physical attributes. They're there to express control, poise, and mature sophistication. Choose polo shirts with proper structure, clean collar lines, and breathable fabrics that allow natural movement and comfort. Let your presence and character speak more powerfully than constricting sleeves, because authentic gentlemen don't need to wear their strength externally. If wearing a shirt requires holding your breath to achieve the desired fit, the sizing is fundamentally wrong for sophisticated presentation. Before we conclude, there's one critical detail that silently undermines otherwise decent outfits across countless sophisticated environments. The untucked dress shirt doesn't communicate laid-back confidence. It broadcasts that you completed half the dressing process before giving up entirely. Traditional dress shirts feature extended hems specifically designed for tucking, and leaving them hanging creates unflattering body proportions. This oversight makes men appear shorter, wider, and significantly less polished, regardless of the shirt's original quality or price point. However, understanding the distinction between shirts designed for tucking versus those intended for untucked wear demonstrates sophisticated sartorial knowledge. Properly designed untucked shirts feature shorter hems, rounded edges, and casual silhouettes that work beautifully when worn loose. This represents the type of intentional choice that distinguishes refined gentlemen from those who leave style decisions to chance or convenience. Sophisticated men don't abandon their presentation to random circumstance. They complete every look with deliberate attention to detail. In elite style circles, control manifests through subtle details, including proper tucking, collar positioning, and clean lines throughout the ensemble. Click subscribe and activate notifications right now to join the ranks of distinguished gentlemen who refuse to settle for mediocrity. Elevating your style after 40 requires commitment to simplicity and intentionality in every wardrobe decision you make. Begin by prioritizing natural fabrics over synthetic alternatives that compromise both comfort and visual appeal. Ensure proper jacket tailoring rather than guessing sizes and hoping for acceptable fit. Maintain shoe cleanliness and polish at least weekly to project attention to detail and self-respect. Press or steam casual shirts regularly so they reflect organization rather than chaos in your daily presentation. Finally, eliminate sarcastic novelty t-shirts from your wardrobe because you've nothing left to prove to anyone. Allow your presence, competence, and refined taste to communicate your value rather than relying on printed messages. Distinguished gentlemen understand that sophisticated style speaks volumes without saying a word about character and social positioning.